Welcome to the Black Duck Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Wilkins. I'm excited to have you join me as I speak with a fascinating collection of folks, all of whom have in common that they've made a way for themselves by finding an intersection between thoughtful consideration and the tactile work of getting their hands dirty. This is an examination of intention, capability, and craft. It's where philosophy meets the blue-collar work ethic and where I find real value. The 2023 Black Duck Revival Turkey Tour is brought to you by Rome Adventure Company, makers of high-quality and rugged outdoor gear to get you where you want to be on all your vehicle-based adventures. I've got the Black Duck Revival van outfitted with the Vagabond XL tent that sleeps 3 to 4 people. It's got a 3-inch high density foam mattress, very comfortable, and an anti-condensation pad to keep you warm and dry. Takes just 5 minutes to set up and another 5 to put back in the morning, and you're on your way to wherever the road might take you. Please check out Rome Adventure Company at romeadventureco.com. Get on the road and make the most of it. The Black Duck Revival Podcast is sponsored by our friends over at Hunters of Color. Hunters of Color is a 501c3 nonprofit. They're the only nationwide hunting nonprofit led by BIPOC for BIPOC. They're working on increasing Black, Indigenous, and other peoples of color participation in hunting for the sake of conservation, food sovereignty, and to preserve our ancestral traditions. They do that by focusing on their 3 pillars, which is mentorship, conservation, and education. Actually, right now, I'm in California chasing turkeys with my good friend and co-founder of Hunters of Color, Jimmy Flatt. Last night when we were drinking some beers, Jimmy told me that last year Hunters of Color was able to get 1,000 new folks out into the field to learn about hunting, conservation, and what this is all about and why it's so important to all of us. So if you want to get involved with Hunters of Color, if you want to support that good work that they're doing, check them out at their website. It's huntersofcolor.org or on all social media platforms. Hunters of Color. Now to the show. Hey folks, welcome back to the Black Duck Revival Podcast. This week, I'm joined by Bryan Rogala of Santa Fe, New Mexico. I met Bryan last year on a turkey hunt in Michigan. He was writing an article for Field and Stream. I was doing some stuff for Sitka, and we hit it off. Turns out we're from the same, or spent a lot of time, rather, in the same town, St. Louis. He also lived in Little Rock, where I'm at now, and he's made his way to many different places. Really interesting dude, probably one of the best voices I've ever come across, and he's a passionate outdoorsman, taking his skills as a mountain biker and skier and backpacker and hiker and transferring them into the world of hunting the last half decade or so and finding a lot of fun and a lot of success. We talk about his work in media, his work in journalism and entertainment, and just where he sees himself and what he sees himself doing in the future here. Bryan's a super cool dude. I really hit it off with him when I was in Michigan last year, and he was incredibly generous. I told him that I was coming through his neck of the woods and wanted to know if maybe we could hunt that turkey opener together. He was incredibly gracious, incredibly generous, gave us some pins where we could set up camp, and then he came up. We hung out that night, got up in the morning, hunted turkeys. Just an absolute pleasure, a real fun conversation recorded inside of his truck up on top of a mountain in northern New Mexico with the wind howling. But I think you'll enjoy this conversation with Bryan Rogala. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Black Duck Revival Podcast. This time from inside of a souped up Toyota Tundra, about 8,500 feet up, northern New Mexico. Very, very windy day, surrounded by pine trees, and there was some aspen down there in the bottom, scrub oak. But I am joined by one Bryan Rogala of Santa Fe. Previously, Dallas, and before that, Little Rock, and
That's right.
St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So we've lived in some of the same places there. And yeah, so this is like the second stop for Turkey Tour this year. We were in Texas. Jay Beyer, my buddy Jay Beyer, and I were in Texas, on Thursday. Man, great morning. Killed 2 toms in like a minute, and
A little bit more action than this morning.
yeah, a little bit, man. But dude, this is a beautiful, beautiful place, man. We came up from the bottom of New Mexico and like went through all those mesas and stuff that look like they've been painted with a pastel brush. But yeah, so Bryan, we met last year. I don't know, about the same time.
About a year ago.
About May, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In Michigan. We learned about, what were those stores?
Party
stores?
Yeah.
Party stores. But we were up there doing a hunt with Sitka, NWTF. You were up there writing for Field and Stream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, man, we just started talking, and, you say St. Louis, and my ears perk up, and then Little Rock, and I was like, whoa. But, man, I think this part of your life is interesting, dude. So I was asking you why you moved around so much when you were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me because it was your dad's job, which is like a pretty unique. I mean, most of the time you hear about like army brats and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's what people always, that's their first thought when I say that I lived in 10 states growing up. They assume army brat.
Yeah.
But no, my dad was in TV. He was in local news. And so I was born in Pittsburgh and then moved to St. Louis after that. And my mom's from St. Louis. But yeah, we would move around just about every 2 years, basically. Just going from market to market, essentially.
Yeah, and so explain because your dad's like a fixer, right?
Yeah. So he was on the management and sales side of things, and he would work for a company like a Hearst or someone that owned and operated all these different TV stations around the country, and he would go in and if a station was failing or if a station was not doing great in the ratings and whatnot, they would send him in, and he would fix it, essentially.
Get in there and crack that whip.
That's right. And then they would send him to the next one.
Did he ever do on-camera stuff?
He did a little bit here and there, but never like an anchor or anything like that. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah. In college, he did, but.
So then what'd you go to school for?
I went to school originally for broadcast journalism. I was going to be a TV reporter. And then I got there and I think decided that was not for me, and decided to entertainment, I guess, was more my speed.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a print journalist for a while there, and my dad sort of talked me out of that, I think wisely.
He's like, do you want to be poor?
Do you want to survive? And, and I saw news and kind of what newsrooms were like. Like I was interning in newsrooms when I was 16. That was like one of my first jobs.
Sure.
And always thought that I would do that, but then got to college and kind of went down the more entertainment path, I guess. So I was a communications major, went to Elon University in North Carolina, and started making like travel shows and stuff when I was in college, basically, instead of the news route. Like
for yourself or for other folks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so me and a buddy we basically had a show that was on campus TV. It was called No Signal, and the idea was to basically just go to any place that we could get out of cell service and just kind of do like a little road trip, mini doc kind of thing that we would do.
Really, man? How long did you do that for?
A couple of years, probably 2 years, 3 years.
Well received?
Yeah, it was. We we won some sort of Lonely Planet thing back in the day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was neat.
And you graduate. You've made your way.
Made my way out
all
here.
The way. I mean, this is officially Southwest.
It is. Northern New Mexico is a special place. I came out here to take a job with Outside Magazine. I was a big Outside reader my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a major Outside fanboy, and I was working for country music television in Nashville. And
what were you doing there, man?
I was a producer there.
Really?
Yeah, I worked online video and a couple shows there, and that's where they were based. So we were living in Nashville, my wife and I, and then saw a job opening for the video production manager here at Outside. And I was like kind of applied on a whim, didn't really think anything about it. Had never been to Santa Fe, never been to New Mexico, and came out, and I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, so you've been here like almost 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 years.
Got your little farm now, got some goats.
Got some goats, some chickens.
I got some eggs from your chickens here in the cooler.
You'll have to give me a full review. Tell me how the girls are doing.
Yeah, I mean, probably pretty good, man. Man, so when I guess, do you still do the overland stuff for Outside?
I do. Yeah, that's sort of my main beat now these days.
So you're kind of like specializing in, and I mean, probably most people know what overland is, but why don't you like kind of tell folks what that is and then explain what you're doing?
You know, I mean, it's a funny term actually. I don't hate it, but it's just car camping, right?
Yeah.
That's all it really is. Yeah. And it's stuff that as hunters, like we've all been doing forever. Like most of my overlanding is on hunting trips, you know? And that's why the truck, like, it's got a nice suspension on it. It's got bigger tires, and that's all to facilitate me getting further back into the woods somewhere. But yeah, overlanding has kind of exploded in the last, I would say, 5-6 years. And I always had an interest in 4-wheel drives and just adventures like this kind of stuff. And so I kind of pushed Outside in the direction of like, hey, let's get some more vehicle-centric coverage, because you know, the vehicle to me is like sort of what enables all these other adventures, right?
Yeah.
And so for Outside in particular, that's whether you're mountain biking or skiing or whatever, you're always taking your rig to go to the trailhead to go and do these things. And so that's kind of the angle that I, you know, came at it from when I started covering this stuff. And then overlanding sort of exploded in the last like 5 years, and now it's kind of a buzzword, and you get on Instagram and you know,
hashtag
got
van
their
life,
rigs.
man.
Yep, hashtag van life. You know something about that.
Man, so what do you think? We'll delve into this as far as we can without messing up your means of putting food on your table. But so, I mean, I don't know if the Black Duck van qualifies as overland. I mean, it's probably
you got
bordering.
You got a rooftop tent up there.
Yeah, I got that roam tent, man.
You got some drawers in the back. It's definitely overlandy.
What? I mean, in some ways, I feel like it's like the antithesis. You know what I mean? Because it's like an old van that didn't cost a whole lot of money. And just like a bunch of shit on it that I did myself. Sure. But I mean, there's just so much utility to it. Jay's like always, like we were just talking about, like Jay was opened up my bow case and saw my bow, and he was like, "Man, that's an old bow." You know, and I was like, "Well," he was like, "Why didn't you get a new bow?" You know, because like, you know, I probably could have like called somebody and like got a company to like send me a bow or something, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, "Man, because I didn't need one. Like this thing still works, right?" Mm-hmm. Like if it stopped working, I would get a new one. But, this thing's still doing it, right?
Yep.
But I mean, where do you think the line is with that overland stuff? Because, I mean, to me, like at a point, it gets like you got $150,000 in a van.
Sure, man. No,
like that's
you're
crazy.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is aspirational, like for coverage wise, right? Like it's cool to look at a tricked out Sprinter van or something like that, and cool to go check them out. But I don't own a van myself, right? I have an older Airstream that we bought because it was like somebody had squatted in it and like it was sort of run down, and we've kind of flipped it and, you know, and put some work into it. But I love sort of the DIY aspect of this stuff. And I think you don't have to spend a ton of freaking money to do this and to go overlanding, right? All you need is a vehicle and like a little, you know, for lack of a better term, like just sense of adventure, right? Just drive down a dirt road somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, it kind of gets a little gratuitous to me.
Yeah,
like
totally.
You know, and I go to these trade shows like Overland Expo and things like that, and they started as these small, you know, kind of gatherings for people to come and learn skills, right? How to winch your vehicle out of a situation or certain off-road driving techniques, and they still have those courses there and stuff like that, but it's become much more product focused and much more, you know, as stuff does. And it's all really cool shit, you know, don't get me wrong. Like I drive a Tundra with nice black Rhino wheels and all that stuff on it because they're cool to look at, right? Are they any more functional than the wheels that came on this vehicle? No.
You don't think so?
These particular ones? Not really. No, not the wheels.
Yeah.
The tires.
Okay,
sure.
Sure.
The tires,
sure.
yeah. Absolutely. And tires, but that's what I would, anybody who's like ever looking to get into overlanding, a lot of the stuff I do is catered towards people who are just starting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just starting in all this stuff, whether it's mountain biking or overlanding or whatever. And this stuff in particular, like all you really need is a good set of tires on whatever vehicle you've got. If you want to get further down a dirt road, you can have a 2-wheel drive van and you throw some all-terrain tires on there and you're going to be fine 90% of the time.
Yeah. Which, I mean, dude, I might end up, before I get home, I might have some all-terrain tires on this Joker.
Absolutely.
I mean, but honestly, man, this is probably like the roughest stuff I'm driving into until I get to probably East Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So, and that's like a couple weeks, man. So, and I'll be with my buddy Jimmy Flatt, and he's good for wrenching on cars and all this stuff. Jay's good for that stuff too. And right now what was it, 29 or 30 degrees when we started hunting this morning?
It was cold.
But we're heading west, so I mean I think we're gonna try and stop before we get into like that West Arizona desert, just like some national forest where there's some trees and stuff. But yeah, that AC was acting a little funky, man. I'll have to see what happens. But it's also like I was talking to Jay yesterday. I was like, dude, that AC might go out, man. And he was like, shit, dude. He's like, it's just a belt and a tensioner, man. He's like, we could go get a compressor and put it on there. And I was like, fuck, well, there you go, dude.
Perfect.
That's the attitude I want to have, man. Because we were also talking about a buddy of mine was like really questioning my willingness to like just go far from home,
right,
in a vehicle that was not like 1 year old. And he's like, dude, what if it breaks down? I said, man, it's a machine. It's gonna break at some point. You just fix it,
right?
And I will say the trade-off with like that's a 98, like hand crank windows. It's got a cigarette. It's got an ashtray in it. I mean, that thing's like old school, right?
Yep.
The upside of that is there's not a whole bunch of computer shit I got to mess with.
Absolutely.
Like I had a little shock fiasco in Missoula last year. I just got underneath and found a true value and got some bolts and fixed it. To me too, man, is it's like it's kind of like this little hermit crab comfort zone to like push your capability, right? Because like you do, I'm gonna be thousands of miles away from my house. And if something happens, I just got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out.
And I told him, I was like, dude, if we get stuck on the road out here or something, man, I was like, we got beds.
Yeah, you have everything you need.
We got food, turkey,
you got water.
We got beer.
Exactly.
Like we'll be fine.
For sure.
Someone will be along. We got cell phones.
Right.
Like we're not going to die out here, dog.
Totally.
So, man, what do you – so I know you're doing stuff for outside now.
Yep.
And then you also kind of have like your own media house, right?
I do, yeah. So I was in-house at Outside for a number of years and then left in 2017 and started Mountain Standard Creative, which is my production company, for lack of a better term. And so video production is my main sort of gig. And, it's me and a couple guys, and we do everything from, product, video, instructional stuff, editorial content for Outside and some other folks, to short docs and things like that. So kind of whatever floats our way, mostly in the outdoor industry, because that's what we're all interested in and have worked in for a number of years now. So,
but so like when you say outdoor industry too, right? So there's like, that's like a big broad.
That's a good point.
That's a big broad, or can be painted with a broad swath. So like, I guess technically I don't know, is it hunting outdoor industry?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
guess so.
When I got to Outside, they designated it, as like outdoor versus like hook and bullet, essentially.
Okay.
Right? But it's all the same thing. You know what I mean? It's all
going to a lot of the same
industry.
places.
Exactly. Yeah. The core Outside audience, I would say, is more mountain bike, climbing, skiing versus hunting and fishing.
Sure. But
thankfully, they're doing more and more hunting and fishing, and especially hunting coverage, which is great because there's so much crossover, I think, in those two worlds,
Well, So when we were down there in the bottom of that, I'd call it a holler.
Yeah.
But Jay was saying, he was like, man, it's so interesting to me how, excuse me, because Jay came out of like skiing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like skiing and he was doing photography with skiing, and then moved into hunting photography. And now he does both. But he was saying it was so interesting to him that the people that come from his background, which you do too, right? So like skiing and mountain biking and stuff, like how transferable the skills are to hunting, and like how easy it is to slip in. Because you said, I mean, how long have you been chasing
only
critters?
6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Not very long. Yeah, I mean, I fished and stuff growing up, but I definitely came to hunting as an adult, for sure.
What's the first thing you went after?
Turkey.
Really?
Actually, right here where we are. Yeah.
Did you get one?
That first year I did. Yeah, not the first day, but the first year we chased him. Yeah, with Eric there. He's the one that got me into it. The guy we were with this morning. Yeah, yeah. He was my mountain bike and ski buddy, and he grew up hunting. And he was like, "Dude, you got to get into this. Like, you're gonna love it. It's the adventure. It's hiking in the woods. All the stuff you already like to do. There's just like a purpose to the hiking, you know, and food, and that drew me into the food aspect. And yeah, I mean, he was right. I was hooked.
Man, you know, that's a really great point when you said there's a purpose to the hiking, because, you know, I am completely unmotivated. So like Little Rock, right? Like everyone goes and hikes up Petit Jean Mountain.
Sure, or Pinnacle, right? Or something.
Yeah. And it's like, man, I've got very little interest in doing that. I don't have a lot of interest in just like getting in a boat and like having a leisurely day in a boat.
Right.
But if I'm like trying to catch catfish, or I'm trying to get someplace to, you know, investigate a saddle or look for sign or something. And yeah, I guess I am hiking and doing whatever, but it never feels like it. I mean, I feel like I'm hunting.
Right.
Do you find a difference in those two pursuits to you, or do you think it's more similar than not?
If I'm going for a hike versus if I'm on a hunt, you mean?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I mean, honestly, they're very similar, I guess. I don't go for that many hikes anymore, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go ride my bike and that sort of stuff. And actually, this is kind of interesting. So we, Eric and I, maybe 2 years ago, decided we were going to, we've done it a couple times now, but we decided we were going to turkey hunt from our mountain bikes.
Dude, I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, and it sounds like a great idea. It sounds like, oh yeah, you can cover more terrain, it's kind of quiet and all this stuff. And honestly, it just made both activities worse.
Really? How come?
Because you're riding a mountain bike, you've got your shotgun on your back, you've got like more clothes and more bullshit on you than you normally do, right? When you're just on a mountain bike ride. And you're not on like some, you know, kind of purpose-built single-track trail. You're just like riding down some rugged thing. And so it's just kind of hard mountain biking. And then you're not really hunting either, because you're kind of going too fast. And like, you know, you kind of have to be hiking or sitting, right? When you're turkey hunting, I think. So that did not work out. And that's that anecdote, I guess, there is just to say, like, I think they're vastly different.
You know, so Jay was actually saying that, you know, he's found a bunch of sign like mountain biking, and found a bunch of animals mountain biking and talking to other mountain bikers.
Interesting.
Because they'll be like, oh man, I see moose over. I won't say meese. Yeah. I see moose over here all the time. Right? Like a hunter wouldn't tell you that.
Right.
But this person has no
mountain
interest
biker
in it.
will. Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And he's like his turkey spot over there by his house in Utah. That's how he found it.
Really?
And it's like, I don't want to blow up his spot or anything, but he said it's like you can see it from the road and no one goes in there to turkey hunt.
That's pretty brilliant. Well, I mean, so we did I'm writing a story for Outside Now on e-bikes for hunting, and just trying to figure out sort of what the best setup there is. And so I have one that just came in, and we'll be testing out a couple here over this spring. But the idea being that with a little battery power, it might be a little bit better.
You could get far in there. You know, that e-bike thing is actually like a real big debate in the hunting world.
Yeah.
In Arkansas, the last couple of years, man, they were they were trying to make the decision if they were going to allow e-bikes
on trails and whatnot.
Yeah, and they ended up saying yes to it. I mean, I haven't been on one. I bet they're like super fun to ride, and they're real quiet, and you could really get back in there.
It's super interesting. I was kind of not anti e-bike, but I just never had an interest in them, because if I was going to go on a bike ride, I wanted to get the exercise or whatever, just ride my normal bike kind of thing. And then for my wife had an elk hunt this past fall, and we borrowed some on their recommendation. They were like, you should take our e-bikes in there, because it's like this spot she hunted was sort of perfect. It was these, Forest Service roads. You could get in like on the bikes a couple miles, and that's kind of where the elk were. And then you get off the bike and sort of go and hunt, And that was eye-opening to me, because it was just like you're fresh when you get there, because you've got the pedal assist on the bikes. And then the pack out. I packed out 2 cows in a day, not totally by myself, but like pretty much by myself with the trailer and the 2 e-bikes. And it was a hard day, but like I was able to do it, which is not something I think without those bikes I would have ever been able to do.
Yeah, that man, my inclination is to be anti e-bike.
Yeah.
Like I was on the I was on the board of Arkansas BHA at the time and we were like discussing if we were going to support it or not. And I was like, I don't think so, man. I'm not with it. Like, kind of not an argument, but a difference of opinion with some other board members. But yeah, dude, I bet if I had an elk down, I would feel a little different.
For sure. Just as a tool, they can be pretty neat, And some of them too, like, you think of an e-bike and you're like, oh, it's just got a throttle. And like, that's not really the case. Like most of these, you still actually have to pedal, and you can sort of adjust like how much it's helping you and whatnot.
Okay.
So you're still riding a bike, which was kind of eye-opening for me. I thought it was just sort of like you're on a little moped or something.
Yeah. But so it's not that you still have to pedal, but it's not hard pedaling.
Correct.
You start getting to those hills, and a bit more of a pleasure.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. All of that's real interesting to me, because I was trying to put together just like a little bike trailer rig for hunting, trying to get a little further into some places.
Yeah.
And I still think it would be useful, but yeah, man, there's a lot of places where it would be hard, man.
Yeah. I think it's all location dependent, and like this zone that we're in now would be a great spot, I think, for bikes or e-bikes, because there's all these little Forest Service
roads everywhere,
4x4 roads that you don't really want to or can't drive your truck on, but like you can certainly ride a bike on them. And they're roads, you know what I mean? So it's legal to do that and everything, but you can just cover a lot more ground.
You could cover a ton of ground, man.
Which, as we saw today, like, these turkey are pretty spread out here. So, fine.
Yeah. And there's a lot of up and down out here. Before we started recording, I was like, man, this hunting this morning really exposed that I live at sea level and I'm 40 and I'm out of shape.
It is not forgiving.
But it's beautiful, man. We got down there in that bottom, dude. There was snow all over the place. That creek was just running, man, and it's just beautiful. Everything's starting to green up down there. And a bunch of places where it looked like ideal. But it's also like, what do you think the wind's blowing right now? 25 miles an hour?
It has to be 25. Yeah.
Yeah, just ripping wind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to hear too.
Oh, for sure. You'd have to be right on anything to hear it.
Jay swears that he heard a gobble twice this morning, and then we heard 2 shotgun shots, like way far off. And so, I never heard the gobble.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of, I guess, they're mule deer out here.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of mule deer sign all over the place, man. Bunch of bear scat. Yeah, I started getting excited when I was finding that bear poop, man. Like kicking it apart and seeing what they'd been eating.
Yep.
A bunch of coyote turds down there too, man.
A lot of coyotes out here.
I guess this is like where they're originally from, huh?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
They didn't used to be in New York.
Right. No, they worked their way over there. Yep. Yeah, we've got a lot of critters out here. It's a cool state to be a hunter for sure. There's all sorts of things to chase, and
is the pressure pretty moderate? Because it's not like a hugely or densely populated place.
It's not a densely populated place at all. So it's not super overpressured. There's no you never hear about like, the Colorado Sea of Orange or anything like that. You don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist here. And it's the same way with skiing and mountain biking and everything else. Like it's just there are no crowds. When you pull up to a trailhead here, whether you're going out for a bike ride or a hunt or whatever, it is rare to see more than like maybe 1 or 2 cars at the trailhead.
Why do you think it's such a sleeper of a state, man? Because it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I don't know. I think you don't hear about it. And I think, when people hear New Mexico, I think they think desert and cactus and, and all that, which there is certainly that down south. As you guys drove through it. You know? But northern New Mexico in particular just is off the radar for some reason.
And this is like, so we're like just hunting this morning and then we got to like boogie on. But man, I'd like to spend a little more time up here, man. Because, yeah, it's just like pretty stuff to walk in, man. And like finding those little open spots. Like I'm looking right now across there. I'm just looking at snow-covered peaks. Honestly, even though it's like way, way higher, a lot of this stuff is very reminiscent of the Ouachita Mountains to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I was telling him, I was like, dude, this looks a lot like the stuff I hunt bears in.
I have told friends that for years now about that out here. Yeah, completely. The pine and, I know it's different trees, obviously, but it has a very similar feel. And the rocks and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the big bluff sticking out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, Arkansas is kind of a sleeper outdoor state, I think,
for sure,
as well.
For sure, man. I mean, everyone knows about it for ducks.
Right, of course.
But like big game stuff, and look, it's very different in Arkansas. If you were like down in the pine forest, everyone hunts deer down there, those like pulp tree leases or whatever. But man, you get up there in the mountains, I mean, it's low density of deer for sure. The deer are smaller because they're like living harder lives.
Right.
But you can like really get in some dope adventure, like you can, there's lots of national forests. You can get to stuff where there's not
nobody's
very many people.
Yep.
I mean, same sort of deal like here. Like what folks were doing was just driving those roads and crow calling, right? And as soon as we dropped off down there in the bottom, it was like you felt like you were totally alone.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and that's 99% of hunting in New Mexico. I was on an elk hunt for 2 weeks. I saw one other person actually in the woods, and he was hunting deer. He wasn't even hunting elk.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you take this rig to go hunt out of?
I did. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Man, what's your scenario for like? You got a little AC or something back there, or you just?
Oh, in the back there?
Yeah, you just open up the windows.
I just open the windows, but so I'll pull a little trailer, or my yard is sort of a constant revolving door of different rigs.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like my yard, man.
Yeah, because I'm always testing stuff, and I test campers and trailers for Outside's Buyer's Guide every year, so constantly camping in different things. So
you got to give those things back?
Yeah, most of them, yeah. Yeah. But usually pulling a little trailer or some sort of slide-in truck camper or something like that.
Yeah, man, those slide-ins are pretty
cool.
Slick. My buddy Brad's got one, and it's kind of weird, man, like you open them up and they're like way bigger than you would ever think in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, they're not quite as comfortable as a van, but like they can probably get a few more places.
Sure.
I guess,
yeah.
That's the benefit to them.
Easier to get that 4-wheel drive on there, man. So, like, what's your plan for turkey season this year here, man? Like today, I mean, this is opening day.
Yep.
I mean, not a ton of people.
Right.
Beautiful stuff to be in. Like, probably not ideal conditions, but I'd be very confident that if you kept coming back in here this season, you could kill a turkey. Yeah.
I mean, that's usually the plan, right? Like this is 30 minutes from my house, so it's hard to beat it in terms of proximity. So we usually come out here a bunch. There's a few other spots that we'll hit. And then during my elk hunt, which was further down south in a different unit, I saw a bunch of birds at a bunch of different sign down there. So we're planning at least an overnight. I think we'll go down there.
That's awesome, man.
And try to see if we can go check out a new spot.
Yeah, Andrew, like, what's cool too, man, is you're figuring out where elk are when you're turkey hunting.
Yep.
And
Exactly. Get a little shed hunting in and all those things. Yeah. It's a cool New Mexico in the spring. I was telling you this earlier before we were recording, but it's like kind of the worst season weather-wise. It's just windy and like dusty. It's just kind of not our best, month or a couple months out here. But it's also pretty cool because everything wakes up, in springtime, and it's just fun to get back out in the woods again.
Yeah, I mean, so like, is this stuff is all snow covered all winter long?
Most of it, yeah, and maybe not here at this elevation, but this road, if you keep following it, it goes all the way up to like 10,500 feet, maybe a little higher.
Yeah,
and it's we'd hit snow here and wouldn't be able to get all the way up there within the next 5 minutes down the road.
Really?
For sure, yeah. You could maybe get past, but there's certainly spots where it's snowed in, and you wouldn't want to drive up there.
Man, what kind of are there squirrels here?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
kind of squirrels you got? Like those little pine squirrels?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different varieties. I think Alberts is that a type of squirrel?
Man, honestly I don't know. I'm not like really up on it.
Yeah, I think there's Alberts and then gray squirrels and something else. I haven't really hunted them, but usually during that time of the year, I'm going for grouse if I'm not chasing elk or something like that.
You're gonna use an old boy hitchback here in the back for grouse, are you?
Yeah, he's come out grouse hunting with me a couple times. He's never never gotten one, never flushed one. I've never found a bird when I've taken him out, but he's busted elk herds every time he's come out with me. So
Really?
yeah, the running joke in our family is that he thinks grouse are elk, and that's his. That's what he's a little confused by. But
He's a good old dog, man.
he is a good boy. 14 years old.
Yeah, man. He was very interested in that turkey we were cooking last night.
He was. Yeah, he's a lab, so
He got a little bit of turkey, man. We hooked him up with a little bit of turkey.
That's right.
I let him lick the plates and stuff. Man, me and Jay were talking about that turkey for a little camp meal. That turkey came out pretty good last night, man.
That was great. We kept asking you to cook more.
Yeah, we cooked. At first, we were trying to shoot something and had some prickly pear pads from Texas that we got and cleaned those up.
Which was also great. I'd never had that before.
Dude, they're really not bad, man. I mean, that slime on them can be a little off-putting to people, but you can like boil them and and rinse the slime off, or just not be a punk and eat it. You know what I mean? It's like to me, it's like okra adjacent. What do they call it? Like mucosa or mucilagenic or whatever.
Yep.
But shit, man, like all that stuff is perspective, right? Like that's huge in Mexican cooking. Nopales, right? Like that's nopales and eggs and tortillas and like just eating it fresh in a salad, or you can grill it. And good Lord, there's no shortage of prickly pear.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's what was crazy. I'd never had that. I didn't realize, like I knew you could eat them, but I kind of didn't know it was like such a big thing in Mexican cooking like that. Like, that's awesome.
I mean, yeah, dude. Like, so I live in Southwest Little Rock, which is like that's where the largest concentration of Latino immigrants and stuff are, right? So there's lots of mercados, and like I live real close to this tortilla factory, and so because of that, man, like just any of the grocery stores you go into, man, they're gonna have like shit tons of dried peppers. They're gonna have like dethorned cactus pads that you can buy like next to the green peppers.
That's cool.
What's that Mexican squash? It's like coyote or something.
Yeah.
There'll be that stuff, man. I'm really starting to get into just a few more of those sorts of influences. Like I've been on this deep tamale dive. And what's so dope about that, and like these grocery stores in my neighborhood, as soon as you go like south of Texas, like all the way down through Central America, man, like, and even over into the Caribbean, man, like they all these places have this, I'll call it a tamale culture, right? But it'll change depending on where it's at, right? So, you think about Mexican tamale, that's like a corn husk, masa, put your meat in there, right? But you get over to like Puerto Rico or some of those other islands there in the Caribbean, right? And they're wrapping stuff in banana leaves, which like you can buy at the grocery store by my house. You can like buy those big banana leaves and then their starch might not be corn, right? It might be yucca, or it might be plantain. But it's all essentially like the same sort of a process, right? But you can just do different stuff with it. And those like leaves will impart a different flavor to it. Like the sauce base will be a little different, right? And then, you can do like savory, you can do sweet. I kind of like that mix of, like savory and sweet, like meat with dried fruit cooked into it, and you get that kind of like molassesy, raisiny, kind of currant taste. I'm into that, and I think there'd be some cool applications for that with it.
Now you're making me hungry here,
man. I actually am a little hungry, man. But man, I'm so fascinated with the fact that you can just get in this metal box with 4 wheels on it, and like I left Little Rock. I picked up my buddy and Jay in San Antonio. We ended up in West Texas at like 11 o'clock at night. Killed turkeys that morning. Like 3 hours later, we're like going through a border checkpoint. I was freaked out. I was like, "What the hell, man?" I don't want them to. What I really didn't want to be like, "Do you have any guns in the car?"
Right.
And they'd be like, I got quite a few in here, man. But no, dude was real cool, and he goes, "What are you guys, a church?" And I go, I should have just said yes, man. Yeah. But I was like, "No, man, I'm not a church." But he was real cool, man. But yeah, dude, we were driving next to Mexico. Yeah. Like, you could throw a rock into Mexico.
There's one of those.
Oh, look at that squirrel.
See him? Yeah.
Dude, that thing's cool looking.
Isn't that cool?
See, even some shit like that, man, it's not always the big stuff going someplace different. It's not always the big stuff. It's like, that's the first time I've seen that kind of squirrel right there. It's reminiscent of the gray squirrels that I know, right? But its ears seem like they're taller and pointier. That tail was real bushy. But man, that's cool as shit, man. Or like that bear crap that I was finding, man. I was kicking it open. When I'm hunting bears, they're eating acorns, pokeberry, black gums. Yep. This thing had been eating pine nuts. It's just like pine cone all in his shit, man.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, man. I love watching the topography change when we're driving. Like, we were like, like trying to rock the AC before we got up here. And then we got up here and met at that restaurant to eat. And like the wind was whipping. Yep. And I was like, dude, we got to put hoodies on, dog.
And then it's 30 degrees last night. Probably dipped below freezing, I bet. Or close to it.
When we woke up, it was 30.
Yeah.
And then like at 6, it was supposed to be 29. Okay. And when we got back up here, it was 36. But I tell you what, it did not feel like that because I was sweating my ass off, and I was wearing this good Gore-Tex from Sitka.
That's right.
I forget what the Sitka slogan is. Like turning gear into something or other. I don't know. Man, so like, what are your plans? I mean, we talked about. I hope I'm not exposing too much, but we talked last night when we were drinking beer on the fire. That you and your wife kind of decided you're not going to have kids, right?
Yep.
So you can pretty much do whatever you want for the rest of your life, you bastard. But like, man, you got this media house, right? Sounds like you're riding bikes and hunting and just having a ball, man. Like, where would you like to? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, man?
I'm first of all, I'm loving where I am in life right now. I mean, that's, zero complaints.
You got a cool thing going, man, for sure.
I got a cool thing going, and I try to just kind of take it, one day at a time and not worry too much about what's down the road. But I think what I'd really like to do is sort of move more into. I'm finding myself working more and more in front of the camera these days, and being on camera, and so that is something that I really enjoy, and I think. I've had this running video series with Outside for a while now called The 101, and it centers on overlanding and whatnot, but it's, again, trying to show people how to get into this stuff, right, and make it seem not so terrifying or you don't have to buy a $150,000 Sprinter van to go have a cool trip, right? Yeah. And so I'd like to take that concept and some other ideas and maybe work for, get a show going whether that's on Outside TV or, a couple other outlets. We've got some stuff that we're pitching. So I'd love to move more into that realm, more into the TV stuff and whatnot, and just keep
being the family business, man.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
What do you spend the most? What do you spend the longest hunting? Like, where's most of your effort centered as far as hunting?
Elk, for sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, I take it back. I mean, it depends. Some years I might spend more days out chasing turkey than elk, but if I had, if I draw a tag, then elk, I would say. Like last year, I went down for 14 days. That was our season. We have 2 archery seasons, and there's early and late. And the first one is 14 days. Second one's 10 days. And so I was down there first to last. Had some great opportunities. Was in elk every single day.
Really, dude?
Yeah. Missed 2 shots that I definitely should have made one. Should have killed one bull for sure. And I don't know what happened. It was super steep terrain. And I was calling to this one bull, and he was answering me, and then I think he had some cows with him, and he went off, and I looked across the ridge, and it was kind of this cool open terrain, and saw this bull probably 300 yards away, something like that. And I see him over here, and he starts walking down, the hill that he was on, and I'm like, wonder where he's going. And I'm like, there's no way he's coming over here. He bugled once, and I just kind of sat where I was and kind of got set up, and all of a sudden, sure enough, there's antler tips coming out of the woods. What I thought was, and where I ranged, was like 45 yards in front of me. And I didn't realize at the time, but he kind of came up and he worked closer to me. And so I had my pin set to like 40, and I think he was probably at like 30. But it was a super steep, like probably 35-degree hill that he was on. And so I shot right over his back. And it was like the perfect setup too, man. It killed me.
Dude, I was about to say that hurt my feelings, man.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. And then he like circled back around. I kind of called him back in, and there was no shot. It was just
he boogered when you let the arrow go?
He did, yeah, but he didn't spook too hard. And so I was like, at first I'm like, did I hit him? What happened? And then I totally missed. It was a clean miss, and then when I started, I think I bugled at him or something, and he kind of like got interested again and worked back around above me, trying to wind me, and I think he winded me, and then took off. But,
I mean, dude, it sounds like a giant turkey.
It is very, very similar. I will say that, very similar.
That's interesting. I love turkey hunting so much, and I've only killed one elk, and it was like a late season antlerless tag. So I've never even gone up to like Ponca or anything in Arkansas and listened to them bugle, right?
Yeah. That's another cool spot, by the way.
Man, Ponca is really cool, dude. And man, I've got a friend actually. Her dad or her grandpa like owns like half of Boxley Valley up there.
Wow, that's cool.
But I don't actually think you can hunt them in Boxley Valley up there. Yeah. I wish you could. I might could get on there. But yeah, I would imagine in the next couple years I end up on some sort of early season bull elk hunt, and man, I'm a little worried about it, man, because like if that does to me what these turkeys have done.
Yep. To me, it was, like I said, this was my first hunt was turkey, and I became quickly obsessed. And elk is a totally different level, completely different.
Really, you think like just way, 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 way better?
Way better.
What is it? What about it?
Man, when you're hearing those things and they're bugling and you're in them, and there's, all of a sudden you have a bull elk screaming at you from 40 yards away, and you see him come out of the woods. I mean, just like buck fever, whatever you want to call it. I remember the first time that happened, I was just completely shaking, And it still happens every time I go out there, and you hear. It's like when you hear a gobble, you hear that first gobble or something, but it's just kind of a different level, and it's just this creature that's so cool and majestic and big. You know what I mean? And there's a part of you that's kind of like when you're in them like that, and you see this monster deer, effectively, right, with a huge set of antlers on it, 40 yards away from you. There's a part of you that's like, shit, that thing could really mess me up.
You know what I mean? It totally could. Did you see that thing on, I saw it in a couple places on Instagram or something, but that big bull elk, and it had like the dead carcass of the mountain lion and its antlers that he had killed.
Absolutely.
And that thing had just been up in his antlers rotting away.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they can mess you up.
For sure.
I've heard him described as a horse with a rocking chair on its head.
Pretty much. And it will never, I will never understand how they move silently through
with those big antlers?
The thickest stuff with those big antlers, man.
Yeah.
It's absurd. It is crazy. I mean, this zone I hunted was like, crazy steep and crazy thick. Like just the thickest country I'd ever been in terms of undergrowth and all this stuff. And like everything wanted to poke you. Everything was spiky. It was all just gnarly terrain. And you'd see a bull all of a sudden, and then he would just slip away. And you're like, how did that 600-pound creature with a rocking chair on its head just do that? Like there's no way. I can try as hard and, I'm not like, I've only been hunting for 5 years, right? But I can usually sneak up on things pretty well. Like I can be quiet when I want to be, but man,
nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
I mean, it's like how deer or something just appear.
Absolutely.
I remember telling my dad, I was like, man, they're like unicorns.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll be sitting there forever, and then you'll like look over to the right, and then you look, and there's like 3 deer right in front of you, and you don't even know how they got there, and you didn't hear them, you just sensed it.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things about hunting. One time we were here, and this fox appeared out of nowhere, and we just looked over and like, oh my God, look at that, and we just watched him for probably 10 minutes, something like that, and he was just doing his thing. But it was just he was probably 50 yards from us.
Man,
like
foxes are cool critters,
so
man.
Cool. Man, they're cool. He just did his thing, and finally I think he winded us and ran off. But I had the same experience on an elk hunt where I was sitting there bugling at this bull, and then all of a sudden I heard this crash up the hillside opposite me, and I'm like, what is that? And there's this huge black bear that just starts sprinting up the hill over there.
Yeah.
It just came out of nowhere,
Dude, one of my favorite things that happened last year was I was up in a tree on this water hole bear hunting because there was like bear sign around it, but I kind of figured out that I think they're hitting it a lot more at night than during the day. But anyway, I'm up in this tree and I hear something, and I look over and like 100 yards from me, man, this black bear's like just scaling up this tree, and it went 35, 40 feet up in the tree in like 5 seconds. Just looked like a giant squirrel.
Wow. And
then I'm like sitting there in the tree stand looking at this thing, and it's just, walking around out on the branches eating acorns.
My gosh.
And it was so cool. And then I was very close to a road, and this truck came down, and I figured the bear would just like sit there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy didn't know that bear was up there.
Right.
I mean, dude, and that bear heard that thing, and just like 2 seconds later, it was down that tree and out of there.
Wow.
But yeah, man, it's cool. It's not just cool. It's it's like hitting something very human to be a voyeur to these like natural processes that, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say you're not supposed to be there, but like those animals don't know you're there.
Totally.
When you're just like really observing them, just being themselves, not acting freaked out or on edge. Like I watched 2 bears like 25 yards from me this year. They poked out of this thick stuff. And these are pretty big bears for Arkansas, like 300 pounds, I reckon. And they just go, rah, rah, and they start wrestling with each other.
Cool.
And like one's on its back.
Wow.
And it was like some Wild Kingdom shit. And then the one walked back into the thick stuff, and the other one, like, there was a little depression, and he just like laid in there and was like loafing, and just really, really cool to see, man.
That's awesome.
And you almost feel like you get a slightly better understanding of them every time you see that.
Yeah.
That's how, I mean, ducks, dude, me and my dog snuck up on like 500 ducks in this timber, and everything was frozen. And these birds, this was years and years ago, and these ducks were all in this little timber spot, man, milling around the trees and stuff, and there were so many of them, and they were being so frenetic that they were keeping that hole open. And I remember sneaking up in there, me and the dog, and just watching them, and it totally changed my understanding of how to hunt them. Because I was like, well, of course, 6 decoys all facing the same way, not moving. They don't look like this.
Sure.
Like this water is frothing and it looks alive,
Yeah.
Just realize, but man, you got 100 yards away from there, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Right.
That there was all like hundreds and hundreds of them in there.
Wow.
It really changed my understanding of it. And like same thing with bears, I'd say. It's like really getting eyes on them and watching them when they don't know you're there. You see how just kind of unconcerned.
Yeah.
Like nothing's messing with a bear except for a person, really.
Right.
Or maybe a bigger bear. So there's a way they move that's incredibly nonchalant. That's very, very different than hunting like an ungulate that is just like super freaked out all the time. And I don't know. It's one of the reasons I like bears so much. It's just because they're very different. I feel like I'm watching like the princes of the forest, or the kings of the forest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, what was so you said 14 days you spent out there solo hunting? So you're just in your truck, hunting all day?
Well, yeah, so a buddy came down for a couple days, and then we both had tags, and then he got hurt his knee and ended up having to leave. And I'm obsessed and lucky enough to be able to spend 14 days doing that. And so I just, had my little truck camper and kind of lived out of the back of the truck, essentially.
So did it change your interpretation of anything, like going for days and days and days, not seeing people and not talking?
It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had, honestly. And I think I learned more about, certainly more about elk and more about hunting on that trip, being by myself. Because usually I've got somebody with me who's a little more experienced, right? And who I can sort of lean on to say, well, what's our game plan? Where are we going to go? There was none of that. It was just me. And so I watched more elk just do their thing when like there was no way to kind of sneak in. Like I watched these bulls fighting one morning.
Oh, cool.
And wallowing. And it was like I was sort of on these trees and they were like in the, 100 plus yards away in the middle of this big meadow and just trying to kill each other. It was crazy just to watch them do their thing and just fight like we were talking about, like nobody else is there, right? And I got to the point where I could sort of pattern kind of what they were doing and where they were going to go, and I could sort of put myself in the right position, that kind of stuff. So that, from a learning perspective, that was unbelievable. And then, man, I just come away from those experiences, especially if I can get in the woods for like a week or something like that, and there's no service or whatever. I'm so refreshed when I come back from that stuff, like just no staring at Instagram, no screens, all that kind of stuff for that long. That's one of my favorite pieces of it too, is just being able to fully unplug for that long.
Well, that's what you evolved to be.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like I was telling Jay, like even pooping in the woods out here this morning, man. Like, I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but like, you're pooping in the way that you're kind of like evolved to poop, like squatting
Absolutely.
down, it's actually weird, man. Like do that and then stand up, man, and like it's 20-something degrees and that wind's hitting your bare butt and you're like, woo.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it even like innocuous stuff like that, I feel like it kind of puts a hyper focus on what being alive is, right? Like you're in the doldrum and just like driving up and down the same roads and like sitting in traffic and all that crap, like, going from one box to another box.
Yep.
And yeah, man, when you can just get out here and you're like, we sitting there eating this turkey, had a fire. Dude, it got dark. Man, like we were tired.
We were ready to go to bed.
Yeah, man, we went to sleep.
For
sure. I slept. You sleep good?
I slept great.
I slept pretty good, man. And then wake up and like see the sun coming up. And then, we were looking down. Me and Jay were talking about it, man. We just drop down that valley down there and see what's up. That's what we did. And dude, as soon as we got down in there and hit that creek, I was like, oh, dude, this is beautiful, man, right? Like there's a little kind of, I mean, we hit a game trail, and I was like, that looked like a critter trail to you.
Yep.
And we just walked it, and then like when you're coming across sign 2, being like, man, I'm in this kind of, I mean, nothing's secret anymore, but like this kind of secret little space.
Yeah.
And I'm putting my feet the same place like this bear did.
Yep.
You know, we found all that mule deer sign up there, which I'm telling you, dude, if you get a tag for here, I'd be right up there in them saddles.
Absolutely.
Man, it's dude, covered up with deer sign in there.
That's great. Very good.
And it'd be I mean, that right there, just like you always hear, you know, like animals use saddles, right? But like, so I learned to hunt saddles in Arkansas, right? But then I come out here and it's the same thing, man.
Yeah.
Like all these transferable skills. I mean, going back to like you mountain biking and skiing, and like you rock climb.
I used to, yeah.
Just all that stuff, man. Like all those transferable skills. It's just like such a pleasure to me when I can take some bit of knowledge or some bit of proficiency I've gained from something unrelated and apply it, you know, and realize how connected many enterprises, you know, really are.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point.
What do you want people to be able to get a hold of you, or do you want to just do you want to give it your socials and all that stuff?
Yeah. The website is mountainstandardcreative.com. Social, you can find me. I'm just Bryan Rogala on Instagram. That's probably my number one.
Got a good old Italian name?
Polish, actually.
Rogala's Polish?
It is. Yeah.
Is that what it originally was, or did they change it when they got to Ellis Island?
No, that's what it originally was. Yeah, I always used to think it must have been Rogalski, you know, or something like that. But no, it was Rogala. It was. It's like a southern, from southern Poland or something like that. Was where the
man, I never would have thought that.
I know. Yeah. I think it means pastry.
Really, dude. I like a pastry.
Yeah.
I stopped when I was in Texas. I was like, you know, when you're like driving and they got all those like Czech bakeries there, you know, they're like big on kolaches and whatever. And I stopped and got a kolache. I like a pastry. I got an apricot Danish as well. Man, I could go for an apricot Danish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what's up here with Jay, man. Like, I don't know if maybe we go get something to eat, or I could go for some freaking coffee, dude. I made a mistake. Jay was like kind of mad at me, I think, this morning about that coffee, dude.
I think he was.
Well, bring your own coffee then, Jay. I've cooked all that. If I had cooked all my turkey for you last night, I would have burnt up my fuel.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, the coffee. But even shit like that, like I was telling him, he'll be like, "You don't have this, you don't have that." I was like, "Dude, I'm gone for like 30 days."
Yeah.
I was like, when I realize I need something,
you're just gonna have
I'll
to go
get it.
Exactly.
You know, like I just gave up thinking that I was gonna have everything perfect. You know, all these different terrains, right? Like 80 degrees to 29 degrees. Tomorrow, man, we'll be in palm trees tomorrow, right? Like sitting in Jimmy's parents' backyard. And there'll be, you know, even just like the stuff that can hurt you is different. Like where we were at, it was rattlesnakes and cactus everywhere. Over there, man, they got that, in California, they got that poison oak. Which, like, you know, my eyes like very keyed into finding poison ivy.
Yeah, right.
But I'd never seen poison oak till last year. And he's like, that's poison oak.
Don't touch that.
Dude, that looks like a little oak tree.
Yeah.
Like, I totally would have touched that, you know? So, like, yeah, man, just can't be prepared for everything.
You know, and that's going back to when you asked earlier, is like your van overlandy. You know, the definition of overlanding is just vehicle-based adventure travel, right? That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people have been overlanding forever, right? They've overlanded in a two-wheel drive Mercedes car and driven around the entire globe that way. So, like, you're totally overlanding in that thing.
Or a fucking covered wagon and some oxen.
Exactly.
Right? That was real overlanding.
That was true overlanding, right? Yeah, man. For sure.
Well, dude, man, thanks a lot because I just texted you like 2 nights ago or whatever. I was like, dude, I think, and dude, we hadn't even decided. We were like, are we going to go towards the Gila? Or are we going to go? wherever, man. But dude, this was a pleasure. I wish I could stay longer, man. But this was cool to get, dude. I'm already figuring it out. But just like I told you last year, when I was driving across 40, and I hit like western New Mexico, and I was just like looking at it. I was like, man, this is pretty, dude. I need to get in here. That's why I wanted to come back. Same reason I'm going to hunt the Idaho Panhandle, because I drove through it last year, and I was like, it's dude, this is gnarly.
Yeah.
And then I started looking up like Nez Perce, the whole history of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Dude, it's rad. But yeah, man, I love the fact that you can still like go have adventures, right?
Absolutely.
And, like when I was stomping around down there in the bottom of that holler, man, I was like, dude, this is gnarly. I'm like crunching through. There's like that shitty snow to walk through where like breaks underneath you and stuff. I was like, dude, this is gnarly. I can't believe this, dude. And we're talking about like we were picking cactus thorns out of our body yesterday.
Yep.
But cool, man. Well, so just Bryan Rogala on Instagram, right?
That's right. Simple.
And then where do they find all the outside stuff?
If you get on Outside Online, go over to the video section and scroll down. You'll find the 101 right there, or you can just search the 101 on Outside.
Yeah, what's the 101, man?
Yep.
Cool. Well, Bryan Rogala, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your state and your stomping grounds with us, and thanks for doing the podcast, bud.
Thank you, man. Come back anytime.
Right on. Thank you so much for listening all the way through to this episode of the Black Duck Revival podcast. As always, produced by me, Jonathan Wilkins, and my long time friend, Brian Dizzle Sachs. If you want to keep up with me and what's going on with Black Duck Revival, easiest way to do that is going to the website or check me out on Instagram. That's just Black Duck Revival. You'll see what's going on as far as food, classes, and follow along on Turkey Tour, or as we've started to call it, the Turkey Bebop, as I make my way across the western United States, chasing turkeys. I think actually tomorrow we're going to head north in California and maybe try and get a hold of a wild pig or two, and then I'll hunt in Idaho for turkeys, end up in Montana, and I'll chase spring bears and spring gobblers in Big Sky Country there in Montana. If you enjoy the podcast, please leave a review, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell an acquaintance. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I so appreciate it. It's a blast to get to do these interviews and talk to these fascinating folks, and it's always awesome to hear from you. So don't be afraid. Send me an email. I love reading them, even if I am a bit slow on the response. But you can just email me at blackduckrevival@gmail.com. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Thanks for listening. Until next time.